Hello, hello. Here we
Hello.
are again on our SullenTV podcast titled Under the Skin. Today is a super special day. We have Carlos Torres and Nikko Hurtado with us.
What up?
What's up, guys?
Thank you so much for joining us. Nikko owns Black Anchor Collective, one in Hesperia, one in Los Angeles. Carlos Torres, co-founder of The Raven and the Wolves in Long Beach, California. Let me straighten this up right here. I want to remind everybody, man, we are not professionals at this. This is new to us. Under the Skin podcast, we just like to bring our friends in here, bullshit, chop it up.
I like it. I like the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's cool. I think it'll be cool to hear everyone's like insight and what everyone's doing, and just you guys get such an influx of so many tattooers and just artists in general that I think it'll be cool to just hear what people have to say and what they're doing with their life.
But you know why this one is so special?
Why?
Because you two are arguably our first two artists that we ever worked with. Ryan and I were talking about it earlier. Like, it's been some years now, but we would really have to do some research to know who the first artist was, because Ryan met Tom Berg. They started drawing together, which is where they met Carlos at SoCal Tattoo in San Pedro. Right around that same time, you had heard about Nikko's work. Go ahead and tell a story real quick about the guy you saw. You never ask anyone about their tattoos.
Yeah, my Nikko connection actually started with a guy named Matt Waterbury, who actually happens to work with us now. The only time in my life I've ever stopped someone in a bar and said, "Hey, let me look at your arm," was his. And
10 years ago?
Oh, it's way more than
like
that.
15 now.
Yeah, it was probably
a
15
long
years
time
ago.
Do you know this guy?
You remember that?
Yeah,
tattoo?
Matt Waterbury. Yeah, I still work on Matt Waterbury.
Oh,
I've known
that's
him
right.
a long time, man.
He got tattooed by you recently.
Yeah, he's a super good dude. I did both arms. One's like super close to being completed, but I haven't seen him in like a year and a half, so give him a lot of shit for that. But Matt's a really good dude. He's a guy from the desert, and he's a denim guy, and I'm sure that's probably what he does with you guys.
Right.
And he's just a smart guy. He's a good guy. I like him a lot. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So I ended up stopping him and asking him who did his tattoo, and he said Nikko Hurtado, and I knew the name and I'd seen the work, but I'd never seen anything in person. And immediately I was like, okay, I gotta, this guy's now on my radar. And our sales manager at the time was asking me like, hey, I want to get this this sleeve done on my leg. Who should I go to? And I immediately thought Nikko, and I said, oh, you got to see this guy's work. It's amazing. You should hit him up. And so we did, and they ended up scheduling a time to meet at what was Ink and Iron. Yeah. And he asked if I would go with him, because he was nervous. He wasn't a tattoo guy. He didn't understand tattoo conventions. So I went with him to Ink and Iron, and that was the first time I saw a lot of Nikko's work in person. And it just blew me away how saturated and how vibrant and how perfect the work was. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but Ryan scheduled with you early on. Like his first early appointments with you, I actually took it.
Oh, yeah.
So he backed out of the first time that you were supposed to tattoo him.
Crazy.
And I was like, well, hey, can I, I want to get tattooed by you. And that was how I got my first appointment with you, was actually taking his.
Yeah, I think I remember that a long time. It was at Ignition, and I remember, that was one of the first times we started talking about, because I don't even think we tattooed you that first time.
No.
Yeah, we ended up just going over everything and didn't work out. But I remember that. It was crazy. That time, a long time ago, I was working at Ignition, and yeah, man, time flies.
Yeah. But it's crazy how fate brings you around to these things. Like, this wouldn't have happened if this didn't happen, if that didn't happen.
For sure.
Like all these circumstantial things, and what that led to was the first shirt. Like, I was broke, even though I owned a company. Everybody thought we were rich, and you always try to figure out ways to like add value to people. And I brought up to Nikko like, hey, let's do some shirts for you. And he said, yeah, sure, I have this art over here. And so he let me take it, or he scanned it or whatever. And I ended up mocking it up, and I was just blown away by how rad it was. I was just like, dude, this thing's rad, and I was, and it was originally intended to just be a shirt for you.
Yeah.
And that's when I broached the idea. I was like, going, dude, I think we could sell this and it would be awesome shirt. And, but at the time we had never done a shirt that didn't say Sullen on it. It just, it was your art with your name.
Yeah.
And Go ahead.
No, I remember it pretty good because it was like the third painting I ever did, and I remember I was like, hey, let's just, can you make me some shirts? Because I mean, I didn't know where to go or what to do. So you had offered, yeah, I can make this. And then I remember one time you came up and you were like, hey, No Fear wants to pick up the shirt, and I was like, yeah, dude, you could have it. Like, just use it, And it was cool. Like, the one thing that's cool about that shirt to me, even though like you look at your old artwork and the design and stuff is like not there, and you're like, what was I doing? But the cool thing is to still see that shirt around,
right,
and to still see people buying it still and wearing it. It's kind of mind blowing to me that, I mean, something that I wouldn't even design like today or even paint today, is just still around.
Or it resonates with people still.
Wait, which one was it?
It's just the tattoo machine with skull. It's that one.
Where
but
it's like moving?
Yeah.
Okay,
like has like a ghosty thing to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to paint either, dude. That was like, I remember, this is something that people really don't know about me, but at that time in my life, I think I had already been on like Alley Inc. one time, but my family had like a hard thing, and I was actually living in like one bedroom with like my daughter that was just born, and living in Joanne's parents' house. And I did that painting in like the corner of this small little normal bedroom. And it's just crazy, man. Like that painting, it means a lot to me because I remember the exact moment and where I was sitting and like the feelings I had and the things I was taking care of 2 families at the time because my mom needed help. And so that thing really resonates a lot with me, with my life and my past, and being here right now too, and like just reflecting. It's crazy how life is,
Yeah,
So,
I mean that, the way, like that was kind of like one of those sea change moments for us because, as we're trying to define who we are and it evolves over time, like us realizing that we could put the artist front and center and it could still sell, like really changed. It was like a hard left for us. Like we realized, okay, well, that's kind of where we want to take the brand. We want to now be this incubator or this like platform for other artists, and it took for that original piece for us to kind of get it, and to see that that was like, oh shoot, that was the direction we wanted to go.
So even though Nikko had the first signature artist Solon shirt, Carlos and Tom Berg had already done, I think, multiple shirts as well, but we weren't putting the names on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, when like, and I don't even know how that came about.
As well as Jay Langer. Langer was up there too.
Yeah, but I think like, our original partner, obviously as a brand grows, you go through these phases of like needing money badly. And we brought on an investor year 5, and he was heavily tattooed and was getting tattooed. I don't know if you tattooed Sean.
No, just Tom Berg.
But he had brought up the idea of having Tom and Carlos design shirts for us, and we were like cautiously optimistic. One, we didn't know Carlos or Tom, and I was always really intimidated by the tattoo industry in general. So like we kind of were like, yeah, that's cool, but I think Sean just came in with some art that you guys had done, and we were like, these are fucking rad. And do you remember the first pieces you guys did? I think it was
I think Tom had done the first few drawings, because I didn't know you until you came into the shop.
There was the SoCal tattoo shirt, the top hat with the candles.
Before that,
Tom had done 2 other ones like this. I think it was like
Skull
a
and a
blindfolded
wing.
skull with the wing.
Yes.
Yeah, and then me and Tom collaborated, or I think there was another design, and then me and Tom collaborated for the top hat with the like skull, with the candles.
Yeah, that was
Which
sick.
is that's hanging up in our gallery.
That thing's badass.
Thanks. Yeah, so shout out to Tom Berg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Tom Berg
mentor
for
right
sure
there,
was the
man.
one that I
Love
seen
that dude.
first too, like
Yeah.
from all that.
So that was kind of the first time because I mean, even when we first started, the goal was to build an icon-driven brand that was rooted in art that was more dark. Like we've always responded to tattoo art and things like that subconsciously. So even our first pieces had, a darker twist to them, but it wasn't really rooted in tattooing until we kind of realized like that's where we were going with it, because when we first started, what we had as references were companies like Billabong and, Volcom and Ruka and brands like that those were our only references. Like when we came out and we were doing art the way we were doing it, we were quite literally the first ones doing it that way, you know, and now there's a whole bunch to reference, but at the time there wasn't. So we did what we thought we were supposed to do and built designs the traditional way. And then we realized we weren't gonna survive on that. And one day I was drawing late one night at my house, and Jeremy was over, and we were scrambling to get pieces finished because we had to finish our line. And Jeremy was like, "Why don't you just put that drawing over there on a shirt?"
There's two of them.
Yeah, and
I was like, "What about that right there? That looks sick. That should be a shirt."
And I was like, "No, man, that's for a tattoo I have to do." And he's like, "Well, that'd make a rad shirt." And I was looking at it, and I kind of was like, "Yeah, that actually would be cool on a shirt." So, you know, I scanned the art and threw in the Sullen lettering in it, and we put it on a shirt. And that was actually the first shirt that we ever got into a major retailer.
Which one was that?
Which one was the retailer or the shirt design? I don't even know the name of it. But it was like a skull.
There was two of them. It was like a red skull with a cloak, spider web on the side. And then the second one was a skull, wing, and a banner that wrapped around and flew like in the wind. That was a black one, both discharge print on soft tees, and that was the first shirt we got into Tilly. So that's like when the light bulb went off, and it was just months after that these gentlemen came into our lives. So it's kind of like those, you know, aha moments where you're like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so like when we did Music was kind of like where it all felt together because we that was the first show that we ever, it was an inaugural Music, so it was I think probably 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you know, we set up our booth, we had a ton of sales, and we just looked around and we were like, dude, this is a room full of people that are just like we are. You know, because we never you know, we were labeled like bro or moto, and we never like believed in that. Like we were like, you know, our stuff was darker, so I get the connection, but like we
Black
never
t-shirts, Chuck Taylors, jeans and Dickies.
We never saw ourselves as moto because neither of us rode motorcycles, and we sponsored moto guys, but we didn't relate to it. So once we saw that there was a room full of people that dressed and acted like we did, like they all wore black t-shirts, they all wore, you know, Dickies or jeans, and you know, and that's kind of when we said, dude, this is it. This is where we belong. This is our focus. Everything else needs to go away, and you know, that's kind of been the path for the last probably 12 years or 13 years now, where we had the clarity of who we were and what we wanted to achieve, you know, and that's kind of what's brought us to where we are now, you know.
Yeah, and coming full circle, it's really cool to have you guys.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. It's
and not only that, but thank you guys from 12 years ago, man. Thank you for jumping on board and your friendships.
About time
and
he said
supporting
thank you.
No, thank you guys. I mean, you know, hindsight's 20/20 vision, so it's like, you know, looking back and everything, I mean, you know, I've learned a lot and really seen like the relationships and friendships I've, you know, from that time. I mean, some of the best times I've ever had was with Sullen, like going to Vegas and like, you know, hanging out and like the experiences we had as friends. And I mean, it really is. Like I told Ryan a long time ago, and it's something that I still believe in. You know, even 20, 30 years, I'm sure that there'll be some type of relationship, and it'll be interesting to reflect and just be friends, you know, and just see how wild life is, you know, because it's an interesting ride.
It's crazy. It's been crazy ups and downs, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And one thing I could say is like you guys have always kept the tattoo community at your hearts, and thank you guys for that. Thank you guys. Like I think we've all somewhat elevated each other on the way up, you know.
We were all young and
we were all
struggling and grinding. And
one thing I could say is you guys knew how to throw parties.
You guys knew how to
You guys throw some crazy parties.
We've had some fun. I've woke up to Carlos on my couch multiple times.
No, but it's been good times.
Have you eaten marijuana with you in your?
You ate it?
We ate it because we didn't have
Was
no
it
rolling
an edible
papers.
or just ate the marijuana?
We just started eating it.
It's probably 4 a.m. in my garage. We're like,
You're
fuck it.
fucked up then.
Yeah.
And you don't even smoke weed.
I know.
I got
That's
that.
where I was at.
I got
amazing.
that footage.
I love that.
Dude, I woke up
Somewhere.
in his couch and his kids are staring at me, and I'm like, hey. They want to. I got a good one. Brody wanted to. I forgot what he was wanting to play, but he had a long shirt on with no pants, and I'm like, dude, go put some pants on, man. You're making me uncomfortable.
This is what you
Like,
woke up to.
I don't want your parents coming out and seeing this, you know.
Yeah.
He's squatting,
That's
little
how,
wiener.
that's how kids are, though, man. My son runs around as soon as he gets home. He's like, rips shirt off, rip pants off. He's running around the house in underwear. I don't know if your kids are like that, but it's crazy, dude.
He's like diapers.
I woke up on your couch too, and before everybody woke up, Lucy's like, "Look, play dolls with me." I was like, oh.
And you're the second person to say that because Adrian Dominic stayed at my house, and that's exactly what she did to him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like, let's play dolls. He's like, what? I'm gonna sleep on the couch.
Well, let's talk about you guys a little bit. You know, it's like talking about the past, the grind, now being business owners, both you guys being shop owners. Carlos, tell us about your new shop, new business ventures. You know, I know you got a ton on your plate. What do you got going on?
Finally opened up the shop last year called the Raven and the Wolves in Long Beach.
Beautiful shop.
I just kind of wanted to, get into a spot where I was able to pull the trigger a lot more and a lot easier because I was coming out of a partnership, and partnerships they can be challenging, and so I just wanted to get into a place where I can push things, and not have to check in with partners, just make things happen. So that's been amazing. We're in a really great location, and that's fun. The crew is amazing, really talented crew. And so I'm in there every day. I'm inspired. The one thing that sucks is I think like when you start getting into business, it pulls away from your art. So that has left
I've heard.
Yeah. So that's left me like really like I don't know. I feel like something's missing in my life, and just I'm gonna have to find that balance, and that's actually my goal for 2019 is to get more paintings and focus a little bit more on that. Like, business is good, and I think for me, obviously it's good for my future, and also the idea with the shop is I want to help propel younger artists and push them and surround them by these veterans, guys who have been there, done that, and help push them along the way. And so that's good, that they're learning that way. And Sean Barber told me one time that when you teach, you become a better artist. And so I'm kind of, this shop is a little bit modeled after that theory. But try and get back to it.
I see it, man. You got a lot of studs coming through.
Yeah.
Guest spot.
Yeah, the shop's killing it, dude.
Yeah,
thanks.
and it's a beautiful location. I thought it was cool to hear Troy, Bradley Noel's widow, saying that the jazz club it used to be, how many, she was telling me all these stories about Sublime playing right there where we hang out in your shop.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, the Blue Cafe, and I actually talked with Rick Walters. I stopped by over there and, just chatted with him, and he's like, how much time I've spent in your building? And so for those that don't know, back in the days it was called the Blue Cafe, and it was one of the only, if not the only, blues bar in all of Los Angeles.
Wow.
So when anybody came to town, that's where they played. So, spending time with Rick Walters and just different people telling me like, oh, you're in that building now?
That's right.
It's like
History.
BB King's played there, just all the greats have all played there. And then, going up into like the Sublime days, the rap days, Far Side.
Wow.
And so it's pretty cool. Like when people come in and Bradley's wife, she came in and she was just like, rattled, just telling me all this history. I'm like, whoa, this is cool,
Yeah, she was saying for the next Sublime Solon collaboration, she's like, it'd be cool if we could do the next Sublime Solon art show at Carlos's shop. Which kind of makes sense. And then Nikko's shop, people always laugh because it's just beautiful building out in the middle of nowhere.
I love my little place, man.
It's so dope.
I'm just, the desert is me, man. Like, I've come to be happy with that. And, for me, I like to party. And, at one time I feel like it wasn't meant for me to be anywhere and like where there's a lot of people just because I would have lost myself. So I have a lot of respect for the desert because it's kept me hungry. It's kept me in the place where I've always been, and I have solitude. I think solitude's a lot because when you have a lot going on around you, you can't really focus on the things that are important to you. So, it's a simple thing, but if I want to go out at night, there's nowhere to go. If I want to hang out with friends, they're far. So like, it's just kept me, my family and my work. And I feel like it's something that's, necessary for me. Plus, like the nights are probably some of the most beautiful nights I've ever experienced anywhere. And I just feel like at night I can go to my backyard and just be alone and really focus and reflect. You know,
Did you guys get snow yesterday?
Huh?
Did you get snow?
No. There was snow on the pass, but not where I live.
I heard it's closed down.
Yeah, we used to get snow up there a lot, but you know, I don't know what it is. I mean, global warming maybe, but yeah, it doesn't snow as often as it used to.
I think Southern California, for our international friends who have never been here, they think we're all Hollywood. They think we're all LA. They don't realize the hills and the mountains and the desert. You know, so they're like, yeah, I went to Nikko's shop. Well, it's out there. I'm like, yeah, it's out there, you know.
Yeah,
but
it's far.
Rad shop.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it. Like, actually, I'm really comfortable there because I have like my own room and I actually have a place where I've made my like little utopia. You know, it's nice going to the LA shop, but the LA shop is still developing. Like, after being there for about 2 years now, it's coming up on 2 years, really rethinking like the whole structure of it and kind of what I need to be able to create the same environment I have in the desert, but recreate that in LA, you know? So that's kind of been my thought process, just taking it slow, but really paying attention to like what it is I hate and what it is I need down there. So
but it's a beautiful shop as well. I went and dropped Ben K off when he was guest spotting with you. And the area right there on Melrose, it's such a hot spot, you know, shop's beautiful. So many original paintings that we're all familiar with, you know, but it's been a lot of work.
You deserve to be there. You should be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that eventually I'll open up something else in LA, like bigger. You know, I really like what Paul Booth did in, you know, New York, and that's always been the goal. I'd love to have something like that, like 2 stories, or, you know, like a big area where we could have like a gallery. I mean, that's in the future for sure. But yeah, I mean, I always try to condense months into minutes. You know what I mean? If I have an opportunity and people, you know, are going to help me with that. So, you know, Roman, huge, you know, I've been friends with Roman forever. I have a lot of respect for him. You know, we've hung out with him a bunch through Sullen and through everything, you know, and, you know, it was his shop originally, Artistic Element too. And, you know, he just offered to sell it to me. So I bought it. And really what I seen was that within minutes I could have a business that was up and running. And so that was really what was the most important thing to me, was like, okay, I don't have to look for location. I don't have to do any of this, but I can get my foot in that door and start off the bat. So compressing those months or even years into a minute, man, I think it helped me tremendously, and it catapulted me. I'm a huge person on manifestation, and whether that makes you like agree in your mind or it's this cosmic thing people think, you know, I set out goals, and you know, I was like, man, I, once I'm down here, I'm going to meet the biggest people in Hollywood, and I'm going to know the top of the top, you know. And within 6 months, you know, I met The Rock. And in my opinion, you don't get, I almost feel like I made my goal too short, because now, you know, the guy I deal with him, and he's a nice guy, but that's the top of the top right now in that place. So I really feel like I'm meant to be there. So thank you for saying that. I do think like that's my place. And I do feel like I'm very Los Angeles, but I'm also very desert. And it's something that I've come to learn, you know, growing up in LA and San Fernando Valley, and always going back and forth my whole life. I think people think it's hard for me to go back and forth, and they're always like, do you like that? The drive's crazy. But it's like, well, this has been like my whole life. Like, I'm accustomed to it, and it's actually part of me. Like, too much of the desert's too much, and too much of LA is way too much. So I need that balance.
So speaking of The Rock, like, do you guys, I know you've told me some killer stories, but do you guys talk about your tattooing celebrities? Because I mean, The Rock, Drake, Puffy, like your story tattooing Puffy is one of my favorites. You told me Pittsburgh, and Carlos with, I mean, dude, Colin Kaepernick. I mean, that guy's blowing up Nike, 50 Cent, the guys from Die Antwoord. Like, I know I love hearing those stories, but I don't know if like you guys talk about it much.
I mean, they're pretty down to earth. Most of the people I've tattooed, there was a few where it was a little like boring, I guess.
Yeah. Never meet your heroes.
Yeah, kind of, you know. But there was like for sure like tattooing 50 Cent for a couple years, and him just constantly having me go out to meet him wherever he was at was really fun, and I learned a lot. Like, that dude is nuts, but he is very smart. You know,
and a hard worker, huh?
Insanely hard worker. But you know, it would be pretty funny tattooing him, and then, you know, I could always tell when he would get to the end, because he'd go off onto these crazy stories like gangster shit. That was like, man, maybe I shouldn't be here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or even like,
The pizza guy comes and you're freaking out.
oh man, yeah, it was crazy.
Knock on the door.
You know, when I first started traveling with it, there was always this dude with a backpack, and they sent that guy in first, come check out the shop, and we were like, all right, you know. And then,
Did you know it was 50's friend?
Yeah, for sure, because a blue Phantom pulled up in front of our shop, and we were like, oh, you know, must be him, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so the guy comes in and just takes a look around, and you know, after a while, that dude loosened up, but he always had this backpack in it, right? And this dude used to carry $250,000 around in this backpack in case they wanted to buy something, right? So
That's crazy.
It was crazy to me, and you know, after a while, they just started trusting me, but they would also like leave the backpack in the room. And I would always tell them, like, dude, get that don't leave me in the room with that backpack, because I didn't want money to come up missing and end up being like a 50-cent story or you know, rap. Just all you hear is
My
my
old
name in the
tattoo
rap.
artist.
Yeah.
Buried in the desert.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. And then one time he was like all these guys were gone. We were in Vegas. And it was just me and him tattooing in this suite, and he wanted something, and he started flipping out because he couldn't find any of his guys, and he's all, "What if you were loco, eh?" And threw me off the balcony. Where are these guys? What with these guys? Where are they at?
They're dropping the ball?
Yeah.
What if he was being threatened by Torres?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Yeah, like my short ass could do anything to him, but no, it was pretty crazy. Like the way he had those guys, you know. And he told me something really cool because right about then he started getting rid of people because he was like having an easy job is a hard job, you know, because you just start to
Get lazy.
Get lazy. You know, these guys are. You know, I always think of that scene in Get 'Em to the Greek where those dudes come back from seeing Cher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Puffy's all, how was it?
What do you mean? How was it when he says what do you mean? I don't know.
You remember that
I didn't see
scene?
it.
That movie's great. You know,
yeah.
that's something funny about Get Him to the Greek is what is his saying? He's like, how many kookaroos you got?
Yeah.
I told him that, and he didn't even acknowledge the reference. And I was like, bro, it's your line from the movie.
Puffy didn't catch it?
No, not at all. It was hilarious.
got
But I
too
was
much
almost,
stuff.
I felt stupid after
Must've been
because I
awkward.
said that. Well, yeah, I'm like, how
quiet.
many kookaroos you own? And he was like, crickets, dude.
But you had cool experiences with
Yeah,
Puffy
I mean, you know,
and The Rock.
It's interesting meeting these people. You know, I think that the one thing I've learned, just meeting anybody that's successful, and it's not even only with the celebrities, it's just any type of business person or anyone that's achieving their own dream, is they're interesting people. You know, they're eccentric and they're very motivated, and they're pretty. I don't think in their mind they think that they're different, but they definitely are hardwired differently. You know, I think that they're very focused and they're straight up, and they are harder personalities to deal with, you know, but that's the reason why these people have gotten to where they've gotten is because their personalities are just so straightforward and intense, and they really don't have any time for bullshit. So I have never really met any of these people that are kind of pussyfooting around what they have to say. They kind of just say it, and then it is what it is, you know. And that, I guess the thing is, you know, I've had great experiences with Puffy, and we can get into stories with that stuff. That stuff's interesting, you know. But I have a tremendous amount of respect for him because he, just by being around him, the small amount, I've seen him do things that I didn't even know was possible. So, you know, to be a businessman or an entrepreneur or whatever you would consider him, a musician, whatever, the thing about him is he's able to delegate many things at one time. So like there's like 5 people around this guy. Like there was like I remember one specific time it was like the head of Ciroc or whoever heads that for him, Sean John, and then De Leon Tequila, Revolt TV. And then there was like the main person from Sony Music was like, it was like everyone in his bedroom, you know, and then me tattooing him. And so it was like, you know, it was almost like how a typewriter goes from one end to the other. Like he would start at, you know, Jeremy, and then, you know, Torres, and then Ryan, and then back to Jeremy. And it was like, you know, De Leon and all this stuff. And he would ask him a question. I remember they laid out all these like ads like of pictures, and then he asked me, I'll pick one, and I picked it, and then he's all right, that one. And it was like that quick. Like there was no like second guessing on his decision. But then also the most impressive thing I seen that day was his son came in and was like, hey, Dad, I got to talk to you. And he made everybody leave. And everybody left. And then he's like, Nikko, keep doing what you're doing. And I don't really remember what they spoke about. I tuned out because, you know, it was his personal thing. But I remember respecting that so much because at the end of the day, he was still being a good father. And that made it, because that was always a question to me, like, not about him, but anybody that runs their business and you guys all know how hard it is. Like we tend to, neglect our families, and even like parents or whoever that we love, because we're so busy and so driven that I was like, wow, man, he's figured a way out, like a way to make this work for him. And he could still have his kids around. Like that was the most impressive thing that I think I've seen from the guy. So that was just something interesting, but yeah.
I've never met him, but I've noticed that too, just from looking from the outside in. He does love his kids, and
it's cool because I feel like for him, he really has earned everything that he's gotten, and it's one of the things where you think like, oh, people's lives are fortunate, or they have this thing, but like when you're around them, you realize, wow, man, this person really deserved it. Like they know they've worked hard to get there. Like he's harder working. Like the guy had like knee replacement surgery and then shoulder surgery, and then he was getting tattooed by me, and it's all within like 3 days. And he was like walking around on this knee, and I think he had the knee done like 3 times or something within the few months. Wow. Because he kept walking on it. And I was like, dude, your drive is crazy. Like, I don't know if it's just the way he is, but I was blown away. There is a reason why he has what he has and he's obtained what he has, And
what about the inspirational line that he told you when he grabbed you?
Yeah, I mean, and that was in the same day. So all these people were in the room, and I was doing like a symmetrical tattoo. There were 2 like stallions like going up. He wanted to be like a warrior and have these stallions like armor on the side of his arm, but he didn't want nothing else. He just wanted the stallions, and they were symmetrical. So you know how hard it is anyways, Carlos, like doing symmetrical tattoos, you too, Ryan, like on a person that's not focused on moving,
too.
So he's like moving and talking, and, I'm trying to put these stencils on. Yeah. And I told him to stop, but I mean, that didn't work. So I'm like, I get anxiety real bad. And like, I have like probably an attention disorder where I can't focus if too much is going on. And so, I'm like, I finally tell him, hey man, I can't do this. Like I look him in the eyes. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. I'm like, I'll do this later. Like this is too much going on. And he's like, wait. And he like says, go to the other room real quick. So we go in the other room. And he like comes and he puts my hands on his shoulder. And if you're recording, like he basically does this. Like he puts his hands on my shoulders, looks me in the eyes, and he's like, you can do this. And it's really crazy because the feeling I got was overpowering with like, you're right, I can. And I did it that day. And it just showed me the power that we have within each other and what we could give to others, because it did inspire me. And it was just a little bit of focus and a little touch and honesty, and it worked, and maybe it's a manipulation tactic, I don't know, but it worked. So
yeah. Did he sit still after?
I mean, he did pretty good, man. Honestly, out of every rapper, he's the toughest one I've ever tattooed. And that's another thing is mental toughness. So like, I won't name other names of some rappers I tattooed, but they'll use numbing cream or, and I'll touch them with a needle and they'll be numb, dude, for sure be numb. And I'm talking like gangster rappers, dude. And you'll hit them with a needle and dude, they're out the chair. Like it's like, oh shit, dude, it fucking hurts. And so, that's always been interesting, but he'll just fucking go, bro. Like he'll go away. I remember one time he took a nap for like an hour, and then we got back to the tattoo. I was like in Atlanta with him, and he jumped on it like nothing, man. He got tattooed like 3 times in that day, only for like an hour apiece, but like was broken up like right next to each other. It was a difficult situation because I've never really dealt with something like that, and it's hard because these situations are just tough to deal with. Like you're in an exceptional place with a different life, so you try to do your best. It's crazy,
right? And now you guys, I mean, people get frustrated they can't get appointments and stuff, but you only got one hand, you only got one Nikko, one Carlos. I mean, I don't know, just talking about celebrities, you guys are killing it and getting your ass kicked as well.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's busy as hell right here. This guy.
Yeah. Far from a celebrity though. So, it's always busy. We're staying busy. I don't even know what I would do if I wasn't busy. Yeah. I get asked sometimes like about retirement, and I'm like, I don't even.
You don't think that's gonna happen? I
don't think so.
I don't think I'm gonna. I know I'm not gonna retire. Like I'm gonna die.
I still want to do something.
I'm gonna die working.
I always tell people I want a tattoo as long as as Rick Walters. I want to be like Rick Walters. I want to tattoo until I can't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think people retire when they hate what they do.
For sure.
True.
Of
You know,
course.
but if you love what you do, like can you imagine? Like, I almost like what scares me is not being able to do it. Like somebody telling me no is my biggest fear.
Yeah.
You know, not me wanting to say no.
Yeah, I just watched that. So there was a documentary I was just telling Torres about in the back in the green room, I guess it would be called.
Yeah.
But like I was talking to Torres about
The
it.
green rooms are never green.
I don't know, man. It's just
They
like
aren't.
some weird like.
You supposed to
name.
smoke weed in them?
Did you smell weed?
Maybe it's because you're green, like you're new to it. I don't know.
You get some whiffs of weed
interesting.
sometimes.
I want to look that up.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah.
Have this guy look it up.
Yeah.
What's the green worm?
Yeah,
mean?
where'd the green room come from?
So like but this artist he ended up going paralyzed and he couldn't move, so he stopped eating because he just wanted to die, and he died, you know. And that's just a crazy thought, you know, just because he couldn't do what he loved anymore in his life's work, and he was probably like 80 and he just gave up, you know. So I can
That's sad.
understand that.
Ryan, I know you had a couple questions you wanted to ask him. I wanted to throw you under the bus.
No, I mean, like, yeah, I guess I can ask that.
There's so many things that I want to talk
Well,
about.
no, I
but
think
don't
like
wanna forget.
one of the things that I know for both of you that kind of stands out is how much painting influences your work. And I know, at least for Nikko, like when you released your color set, for me it was kind of like one of those aha moments as far as seeing color in a new way. And my question to you is, how far do you think you can take it? Because you've taken it to the palette that you have now, and now that you've used it for however many years, like, how much further do you think you need to take it before you'll be completely satisfied with what you have?
Well, I mean, with that kind of stuff in art, it's always growing, right? So like, it really isn't about like when I made that set, it was probably 8 years ago or something like that, 6-7 years ago. My mind was in a different place, and I had needed certain colors. But now where I'm at is a lot more simple place. So like, I think the simplicity of colors and the way they work together for what I've learned. And this is the crazy thing is like, I never knew anything about color. Like I'm not an academic artist. I don't know anything that someone has told me. It's only been by deconstructing people around me. So, you know, being in a room like I remember Sean Barber showed me all these skin tones and everything like that. And I remember in that moment, I didn't know what he was talking about. Like I couldn't understand it, you know, and I have it up in my shop with these little paint strokes of different color swatches that he put on a painting that he did of me, like a quick study. But now I can look back and I understand what he was doing, and I can actually recreate that color from scratch, from like secondaries and primaries and white and black, at least really close. And being with Hustler, like going to Hustler's house and painting all those years, like for a few months, every month, like deconstructing his palette and seeing what these colors are doing, I've really learned a lot. Because I'd say the biggest thing that I've learned, and especially now, and I'm sure there'll be new palettes to come out, because I feel like the palette I made is dated, you know, and I'm ready to make something bigger, you know, with a lot more influence, like limited but bigger. And so I think that there's just a lot to give as far as that, and really making like swatches to give people to where they can understand it in a simple sheet or what it looks like. So hopefully that'll be the evolution of what I do if I can work with some, you know, with Fusion or something like that, and make something. But really, it's just limiting myself if I can't. If they say no or something like that, then it's just going to limit, and I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, man, I do think it's never ending, you know, because it's once you think you kind of know something, then something fucks it all up and you realize you didn't know anything. And I've come to that realization many times. So what I know today, and what I kind of feel like I think in this theory, I know that in 5 years, if I continue, it'll be broken. But really, the best way for people to think about color or anything like that is to really base it upon, if you have knowledge in like oil painting or anything like that, and I'm not talking about knowledge that was taught to you, I'm saying from doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, and you've obtained something that you're like, oh, okay, this is what it's doing, bringing it back to tattooing, and then using that same idea, like find a way to use that same idea in the tattooing, and then do it and do it and do it and do it. So that way, when you go back to painting, you're doing it all the time. So it's like Torres, you know, he's basing everything a lot on value and the open skin. And there was some things that I've learned from you recently that really were like aha moments, like where, you know, the background is like you do certain things with the, you know, limiting. And I won't give that away, but these are things that I've learned from you. And if you want to learn, you take Carlos Torres seminar. But
Black Anchor Academy.
no, but it's one of these things where, you want to be able to bring that stuff back in, and you don't want to have to go to oil painting or watercolor and change your mind. Like, you want things to go across the board. So the way I feel now is I can use color pencil, I can use gouache, I can use oil painting, I can use tattoos. And across the board, the knowledge I've obtained, I can translate it. You can give me spray paint, and I'm going to translate it the same way. It's just keeping it simple. I think simplicity has become the best thing that I've learned, and really trying to understand the simpleness of what it's doing. So I know it becomes crazy like that, but yeah, sorry.
No, it's cool. I like, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
I have the Green Room.
What's the Green Room Quest?
London's Blackfriars Theatre in 1599 included a room behind the scenes which happened to be painted green, where the actors waited to go on stage. It was called the Green Room.
Yeah.
In
So at
England?
one time it was green.
It was a green room.
In 1599.
So
It just
1599.
happened to be painted green, so it just caught on.
That's cool. That's cool.
Thank you, Quest.
Thank you.
You have any other questions, Ryan?
My questions would be like, how do you guys handle, like, because obviously you want to be nice to everyone, right? There's not a person that you want to like offend. How do you deal with people that are too pushy? Like, they're just wanting too much from you and they don't even know who you are.
You talking about like if they have tattoos or if they're trying to get in, or
Probably anything.
Yeah,
Anything?
anything.
I just choose the kill them with kindness thing, and if they don't get that, it's just what can we do? There's only so much we can do, and then to be honest, I tell them to email us and then have the shop manager take care of it from there.
Yeah, because I see you guys get bombarded with messages and requests, and everyone that reaches out to you, they're all an individual person, and they all believe that they're the only person that are speaking to you when there's 250 other people in line that day that are asking for something.
Yeah. I mean, this is just my perspective, but I've really become like a person of simplicity, and I'm sure that like this is kind of how I hear your question is just say somebody asks me and I don't want to do it. I just tell them no now. I think that a lot of people take it offensive, even with like business, or if it's just whatever, like they want me to do their convention, I think that it's become better for me to be straight than it has in the past. Like, I think I used to be more like, well, maybe. And I just think that led me to a lot of problems. And it really didn't make me happy because I felt guilty. Because, I want to do all this stuff. Like, that's the thing is people don't understand is like, fuck yeah, I want to go to your convention. Fuck yeah, I want to experience your town and city. I don't care where it's at. It could be the smallest little remote place ever. But unfortunately, it's not realistic. And so I have to implement other things, whether it's like, hey, dude, this is what you got to do. You got to, like when we were in Cancun, I had a woman asking me to go to Winnipeg. And I'm like, well, yeah, and she'll like, oh, I'll pay for your flight. I'll pay for your hotel, and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, look, if you really want to be serious about talking with it, you can email me and then I'll tell you exactly, but you're going to have to pay me, and I know that sounds so shitty, but the reason I had to start doing things like that, and I'll go to my friends' conventions, like, Jesse and I gave him my word I would go to Taiwan this year. So I'm going, and I told him I'll be there. So I'm not asking for any of this stuff, for my friends and people that, I know. But if you're a stranger and you're asking something, then yeah, I'm going to make it a little bit more difficult because it's just not realistic for me to do all these things. So then you become priority. And that's all it is, So that's really all the reason I'm doing that. It's an easier way to say no because then I don't have to say no. Right. It's just like they don't want to pay. So it's like, cool. Right. We'll see you around, Right.
It's kind of like it's a higher bar to get over.
Well,
so if you're willing
exactly.
to go that extra route, then, then you
And I'm negotiable. You want to give me $5,000? I'm down. No, I'm just kidding.
I remember you saying too that if you know them, they got a better chance. So a lot of people are trying to get with you. I'm like, listen, if Nikko knows you and knows your face, like if you get a chance, go up and introduce yourself to him, and maybe he'll remember you and he'll respond to your email.
Yeah, I talk to everybody, like even in Cancun, like I had people, I didn't tattoo for 2 days for that reason exactly, like when I hang out with Ryan, and I didn't get to talk to you much, Jeremy, but I really went down there to like just have relationships, and I'm always so stuck into tattooing all weekend. I kind of feel like it's taken, like, I'm to this point where, like, you know, I've pushed myself and I still want to. Like, I have that hunger where I'm like, I see you guys tattooing or Carlos tattooing, and I'm like, fuck, I want to tattoo. But at the same time, you know, I want to cultivate relationships and talk to the people and at least have one day at a convention to where I can interact and it's just not me buried in a tattoo. You know, it's really the only chance I get to see these people like yourself. And I want to have conversations. I want to think about other things, you know, and I can grind away at home and really do that. So it's unfortunate for people trying to get tattooed there, but I think it's better because I really can't focus no more at conventions as much as I used to.
Yeah, I've been finding tattooing 2 days out of a 3-day convention is better. One day, like you said, to network, but also just I keep my back. I can't take it anymore.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were asking us about, like, it's funny because I think everybody, I don't think everyone sees us as like old dogs sometimes.
You think so?
Yeah, well, yeah, because they'll ask us like, so you're gonna, well, it was a perfect situation. They were like, so you're gonna win the belt, you're gonna win the 10 grand or 5 grand. And we were like, fuck no. And he was like, what would get you to try? And it's like, dude, I don't even want to try. There could be like a 50 grand person. I just like, it's not fun to me.
Too much.
Yeah.
Well, it's just so much pressure. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not fun, you know? Yeah. And I feel like I'm not, these kids are young, dude. Their bodies ain't fucking wrecked. You know, it's like my body feels fucked up sitting on a fold out chair for how many hours, dude? Like 24 hours in 2 days?
And they'll show up 2 hours before the convention starts.
Yeah.
And they stayed up
just
all
to
night.
get a jump start, and they stayed up the night before. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I can't do that
sugar,
anymore.
Son.
They're trying to get their name.
I think that's why we were so attracted to doing Cancun, was because like we went into it with that mindset, like enjoy it, you know, and make sure that you don't tattoo, you know, at least have one day to yourself and enjoy it, because that a lot of times it happens where you go to these shows and even though you're in this exotic location, you don't see any of it. So it's like, for us, the appeal of having a show where the goal was to make sure that everybody kind of took some time and enjoyed themselves as opposed to just grinding. And those who wanted to grind, those young kids that wanted the belt and wanted to, you know, to come up, like it was there for them.
Yeah, I know. I love that. Like that shit's so badass. I'm so stoked for them.
Yeah, we had a blast. We had a blast. Yeah. Right. Hey, speaking of shows, Golden State.
Yeah.
That's the next big one.
Yeah, yeah. So
you guys are still hosting it. You're still a part of it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I just got off the phone with Marco right before we hopped on here. Told me to tell you both hello.
Oh,
right
cool.
On.
Yeah.
Nice. Marco's an awesome dude, man.
He is an awesome guy.
Yeah. He is. So we're going to be doing this podcast live on the side stage each day.
Right
so
Sick.
if you guys get a couple minutes, come up there and bullshit with us.
Yeah, I'll be running around all weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're going to be dragging everybody. But Golden State, phenomenal show. We do great there every year. It's there in our backyard, Pasadena, about 35, 40 minutes up the freeway. And it's hosted by Carlos and Nikko. Same guys that put on the Empire State show put this on. And how did that relationship start? How'd you guys get on board with that? Just an invite?
Well, you know, me and Nikko had been talking for a while. Maybe just drunk talk or whatever, but we had been talking for a while about doing a show, you know. And I believe the way it came about was talking with Stefano.
Yeah, Torres hooked me up because we were talking about doing a show, and then
I remember you guys
Torres
talking about doing something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, and then Stefano was doing the show with Marco, the Empire State, and then Stefano, called me one day and he was like, "Hey, would you guys like to do one over there? I know you guys are really busy and you guys always got a lot of things going, and here's an idea, blah, blah, blah. We'll throw it. You guys host it and, you know, keep the stress off of your guys' shoulders." And, you know, I hit up Nikko about it and Nikko was all about it. And then, you know, what's crazy is what it's become in so few years.
Yes, needed.
Yeah. And then also...
It was that perfect time, too.
Yeah.
Right.
And also with what Nikko's thrown into that, you know, the whole Black Anchor Academy thing is just, you know,
I think there's a lot of stuff that, I mean, all of us, like, this is the one thing I've been reflecting on with the whole, you know, and that was the whole thing with the relationships I was talking about too, is like, you know, we have all these relationships, and I think that we're pretty much surrounded around pretty successful people, like, you know what I mean? And I think that there is a lot of potential just within our friendships to really figure out how to step forward, you know, into the future. Yeah, for sure. And I'm super honored to be a part of the show with Marco and Torres and Stefano and everybody. Like, it's cool because we almost have like we have like a sister show almost in Empire when we go.
Yeah.
And Marco's such a good dude. I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys, Torres knows, but I don't know if you guys know that Marco's a tattooer, that he used to tattoo.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
he
that.
owns shops and stuff, and he tattoos. He knows how to tattoo. So it's pretty interesting because the guy's such a quiet guy and just so unassuming. But he's actually a really solid person, and I'm really grateful for that whole thing. So really, the Black Anchor Academy is just something that came out of me just teaching seminars, for a long time, and then teaching these workshops out of my shop. And I just wanted to, with that, I wanted to add something to the Golden State. And one of my favorite things was, the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. Like, it may not have the numbers of attendance, but man, the show was cool, and the teaching was cool. And I would even if Torres ever wants to talk about it or whatever more, but want to make it better. And even for next year and kind of see what's different about this year and then go into next year with a more open mind. Cause I do think there's a lot of potential to do some really unique, cool things there. I think we probably need to get more involved with that stuff. And I know we keep talking about it, but I do think that show has a lot, especially being in Pasadena is such a unique thing because Pasadena is such a high-end place to hold a tattoo convention. It's like
where they hold it at is
I think,
right
that's
in
the
middle of
nicest.
you went to
Convention center I've
Pasadena
ever
Art
been
Center.
to. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm very familiar with the area, but that convention center is beautiful.
Yeah.
You couldn't ask for a nicer setup with the lighting, and I think that's brand new.
Yeah, it's badass.
Dude,
so.
I wanted to bring smut to the convention, but they, my ideas.
Who said no?
My ideas. They actually were never said no. Just pulling it off was going to be
smut,
impossible.
what's that?
Remember when I was telling you about the tattoo Olympics?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Remember on Revenge of the Nerds where
Yeah.
they had the tricycle races?
Yeah, but
they got to chug a
we
beer.
even talked about dodgeball.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
we talked
didn't
about
fuck up people, huh?
Oh, we can make some room for some dodgeball.
that
Yeah,
we were
for sure
talking
there's room.
about
Yeah.
how sick would that be to do a mud wrestling, or not mud like Jello wrestling, and I forgot who it was. He's a bigger dude. He agreed to wrestle three girls, bring in the Sullen Angels,
Yep.
and then find one little dude and wrestle a girl
Yeah.
that's bigger than him.
Yeah, for
I don't know
sure.
if that's politically correct, but
Let's set it up.
I,
That'd be
I was
fucking
thinking
sick.
remember Revenge of the Nerds and they had the belching contest and all that.
I remember the song they play in the background. It was
the tricycle.
it was the Chinese song.
Yeah. But I was thinking, how dope would that be, as a tattoo fan, that you go to this convention and you see your favorite tattooers.
We should just do the
in
tattoo
this
Olympics. That's what it should be called.
Dude, that would
And
be
it would
sick.
be just
Got nothing to
fucking
do
pounding a
with
beer.
tattooing.
Who could pound a beer the fastest?
Yeah.
I think something's brewing right here.
I think Jeremy
Yeah.
would probably win that.
I think
one.
something's brewing right here.
I don't know, dude. There's some competition, out there.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And
Yeah.
they can make room for it.
Yeah.
If we
Crazy
just do
Ruben
the far
might
corner,
win. He
Yeah.
pounds too.
oh, he can do two at a time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Crazy
here,
Ruben.
here was my only concern was or why we never pushed any further was any kind of legal issues or anything like that. But I still think that would sell.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love to go over there and see 6 of my favorite tattooers
Yeah.
competing in something that has nothing to do
Hell,
with tattooing.
yes.
That needs to
Yes.
be done.
Yeah.
See?
We
Right
should
there.
pull
Dude.
it
We
off,
got to
dude.
do it.
Yeah.
Let's
You just got to
continue
do it
this.
on a Thursday or.
No, I see
No,
during the
we
weekend
do
is
it.
We
fine.
do it on
Yeah,
during the
Friday.
week.
Friday or
One
Saturday.
Saturday
day.
night peak
Yeah.
hours.
We could do one a day.
Yeah.
The Olympics is spread out through a couple
Yeah,
weeks or a
that'd be
couple months,
badass.
something like that.
Yep.
I'll help you guys with it. We'll continue the conversation.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
And then the
Yeah.
Black Anchor Academy that's going on Thursday before, right?
Yeah, so the Black Anchor Academy is Thursday.
Who do you got this year?
We have Carlos Torres, this badass. He does black and gray work, and he's sexy as fuck. And
He's
then
all right.
BJ Betts, he does
Cool.
lettering and things like that. He's amazing. You guys work with BJ, so you guys know. Joe Capobianco. I feel like Joe Capobianco is always a great speaker because he's just fucking talking shit.
Yes.
He just talks shit. So
As
if you
real
want
as
to
it-
see a
as
guy
real as it is.
He talks honest.
yeah, and if you
Yes.
want to see a guy talk honest and talk shit about what's happening in tattooing right now, that's what I'm excited about because he's going to say some shit that I'm sure is going to even attack me, and it's going to be great.
That's
So-
awesome because he told me he would never come to a California show again. So I'm glad you guys got him.
You know what his name is to me?
Huh.
The Walking Contradiction. Because I remember he was talking so much shit about the TV shows, and then the next thing I see, he's like, I'm fucking on TV. And then he's all, not for nothing, I'm never going to go back on TV. Dude, I guarantee you, if there was a fucking other TV show, he would do it, dude.
Not for nothing.
Not for nothing, Nico.
We know a few
the
of those.
fucking guy. But yeah, so Joe Cap And then Dino Cook, something about Dino Cook to me, when I started tattooing, Dino Cook was the first realism tattooer that I really seen. And the guy's a huge hero of mine, and he's recently had a huge reflection on life, and he's had a new take on life. And really seeing this guy's breath of energy is refreshing to me, because I really admire people that have done something for so long and then they find that newfound love. It's like he's a kid again, and he's so excited, and he's supporting all these younger tattooers, and he's commenting, buying artwork. It's so
Good
cool.
dude.
Yeah, it's so cool to see him. So I really would like to see. I mean, there's nothing worth more than what is it called? Like when you have sorry guys, like when you do something for a long time. I'm sorry. What is it? Bad.
Repetition?
No, not repetition, but yeah, basically like that. You can't. He's just been doing it so long that I'm sure he has some amazing things to say, and I'm excited.
I don't want to get sidetracked too much. I want to get back to who you have for Black Anchor Academy, but I was thinking about that earlier. Like Dino Cook is, one of the first color realism guys. When I think of the first, I mean, I know
he was huge.
Like him,
bro.
Carrie
Super
Barba.
famous,
I know Freddie
for sure.
Negretti had his one back piece that was kind of, know.
Well, I had seen it was like Stefan Schottezeg. It was Tintin that did some. Philip Liu did some color realistic stuff on a thigh. It was like he had like a Bruce Lee, and then there was a Jimi Hendrix, and it was on the same guy. It was amazing. And then it was like Boris. Boris is still like this youthful guy, and he's probably one of my heroes in tattooing just because of him as a person too and his work.
Boris was doing it before you?
Guy.
For sure. Boris has been doing it. Dude, I remember looking at Boris on his website, because I used to look at websites, I was just telling one of the guys that work for me in LA.
Robert
this
Hernandez,
guy,
too.
Yeah, Robert, the same dude. I mean, there's some godfathers of this stuff that nobody really knows of, these gems, And the reason for Black Anchor Academy, too, is to get these people that I've learned from and to get them in front of these younger kids for them to learn from, because the knowledge is power, So I think that whatever these guys have to give, there's a reason why they thought differently. They were really truly the first ones to break outside of the box. Guy Atchison, Paul Booth, all these guys thought outside the box, and they kind of broke the mold. I feel like that was like a renaissance in tattooing, because it was like the rebirth of a new generation, a new place. And I think people always feel like with every generation they have that, but that was really a turning point. I mean, Guy wrote that book, Reinventing the Tattoo, and I'm blown away by that. And that's the reason why everything's at where it's at. I mean, they gave and shared, and I want to continue that legacy with what I'm doing. And, the same with Torres, I really believe in teaching. I mean, you start as the new, and then you become the old, and transitions change. So I like seeing, and every young person's going to see this, where you're at, it's always going to constantly be changing, and you have to grow with that. So you have to be smart about the transitions, or you're just going to be left behind. And that's just what I think in my mind, the way I see it. But so we have.
So you got Carlos, you got Dino Cook,
Mr.
Joe.
Cartoon. Dude, Cartoons
DJ.
Last year, you didn't watch it, huh?
Yeah, I got it in there.
Dude, how good was it?
It was funny. Just stories.
Dude, and it was amazing. Just seeing his
legend.
You know what? If you go in there and just watch the way people promote themselves, you already won. Cartoon went in there, he had a hype video, Esteban introduced him, and it was just damn, dude, he don't do anything half-assed. If anything, you took that from him. You were like, he's got 100% in everything he does, and he's a badass.
Yeah.
So, and then, we have Victor Portugal, which is really exciting. So, and he was a last addition, because he had hit me up and was like, hey, Nikko, I really want to be a part of the Black Anchor thing you're doing. Maybe this year we can do something. I'm going to be there in January. And I was like, oh, why don't you just do the Academy? So I really haven't done a big push on the advertisement for it, but I'm going to start. And I'm really excited to have people come down. Thank you for the opportunity to even talk about it up here on SullenTV and stuff, and your guys' podcast. But it should be cool.
So that's January 25th through the 27th, right? Pasadena, Golden State Tattoo Expo. I'm sure tickets are on sale. And then what are the details on the Academy?
What do you mean? The Academy's Thursday before the show, and then
how do they get involved?
You can just go to my website and buy a ticket, NikkoHurtado.com. The tickets are there. I think the cap on the Thursday is maybe 150 people, and then there's only a few spots left for the weekend. We do these little workshops, so on Saturday and Sunday, maybe there's 3 or 4 tickets or 2 tickets left. So, but the Thursday's open, and we're actually gonna. Oh, before I let this go, this is one thing for people to know. I'm gonna give away a full shop to come to the Academy on Thursday. So we're gonna do
cool.
this whole thing on Instagram to where, you know, I'd like to give things back like that, and I think that it would be good if you want to like level up your shop, or you have a shop you want to, just look out for the details. But yeah, I think it'd be good to bring one shop in for free and help them out and give it back to maybe a shop that wants to be a part of it.
Cool.
Very cool. I want to ask you guys about some of your products coming out, but first, I got a question I want to ask you guys. Try to answer it as honestly as you can. Carlos, you first, and then Nikko. What advice would you give to new? It's a two-part question. What advice would you give to new tattooers coming up, and what advice would you give to the old timers that just wish it would be the way it used to be?
Damn. To old timers, this one's a little easier to answer because I feel like I'm starting to lean more on that side than anything. But things are just going to progress, and I think keeping up is a big deal, But that's the way of the world, right? Where we could have stayed back in the dark ages and been like, "No, we're fine here," but the world's going to evolve, and you never want to get left behind. I've heard of old timers who it's harder for them to find work, but the thing is people are progressing, and you got, they set the bar here for us. We started learning, and then we pushed it, and then now we have kids doing the same thing to me. So now I'm in the same boat, like I need to study and progress and keep pushing forward, and so as far as old timers go, I think there's nothing wrong with constantly trying to learn. And I think that's what you need to do, or you get left behind.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it because I know people who are struggling to find work, or there's shops open up left and right over on every corner, and it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back to trying to stay motivated.
Trying to stay motivated. I had a cool friend or a good friend tell me a cool thing one time, and he said that you have to always push forward, because if you at one point you ever stop, you start to fall backwards, because the world's evolving. So let's keep going. So even if you think like, oh, I'm good right here, I'm a plateau, like it's not. You're going backwards. So I've always kind of lived by that, and I thought about getting something like that tattooed on me actually, because I'm like, that's something that you got to live by.
Mm-hmm. Reminder.
Or you go into retirement and sit and pass away like that dude. Yeah.
For sure.
And then what about for the youngsters?
For the youngsters, I think the biggest thing is for me, I don't know about advice, but here's what I'd like to see is pay respect to the guys who set the bar before you, know who they are, and show them. Every once in a while I hear, you can hear chitter chatter about who's the newest hot shit and blah blah blah, and those people are they're old, and it's like, dude, you won't be there if it wasn't for them. And even it's by way of saying like, oh, I looked up to Nikko's work. Well, Nikko looked up to other people first. Yeah. So like I said, they set the bar. We started a little under that, and we pushed it further, and it's just going to keep happening. So that, and just work hard, have fun, enjoy life. We've been granted a really awesome opportunities and careers to travel, see the world, just get paid for drawing on people. Like, come on. Yeah. So,
do you feel like you've sacrificed anything along the way?
Me, yeah, yeah, kind of. But a big part of it is I'm super selfish. Like I want to sit up at night and draw all night long, and so maybe I've sacrificed, without getting too personal, like a relationship, spouse, kids. But I'm pretty happy. Just I like making art, and that's my one love. And I've tried to tell people that's like finding a relationship for me is like they have to accept that they come in second, I guess. I don't know. Right. I don't know if that might
That's
be
normal for a man. I tell my wife that. I'm like, it's normal for a man to focus on his career, like.
Yeah.
Well, we're conquerors, you know what I mean? Like that's how we're.
It's not that they're number two, but
So
Right.
Yeah.
However you want to say it.
Or I mean, I've learned, and I learned that there's going to have to be balance in it. But I think that there also has to be like, okay, I got to share that this is who he is and the love he has for art and or whatever you do, and yeah. So
It's tough to find them, the ones that'll back you 100% because most of them are needy.
Yeah. But that's me. That's I'm content with making art. So
I think a lot of times, when people see people that are successful, like most of the people that I know that are successful have done a great deal of sacrifice that no one is privy to. They just see their success and they go, I want to be that. Yeah. And it's like, no, like I stayed up all night for like years, when we were on the beach cleaning up after the US Open, we were the only ones on the beach in the middle of the night, carrying boxes back to a truck and loading it up and going home when everybody else was partying at the bars. But, I think that's one of the key things that I see in successful people is their ability to sacrifice everything to achieve what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I sacrificed my health. Honestly, I look back because when I was younger, I really enjoyed exercise, just anything, and tattooing for, 12, 13 years, I just ate like shit and just didn't make the time to take care of myself at all. Mental health, everything, and this is the first time in my life that I think a lot of people, I had a good friend of mine, Tony Rommel, and he was like, oh, you want to get wasted? You want to drink? I was in Hawaii and I'm like, nah, man, I'm not really drinking. I'm here with my family and stuff. And I was explaining to him a little bit of the things with like just like my mental stuff, and then just myself, with like my own health and physical too. And he took it as, oh, you didn't have good times with me, and I was like, no, man, that's not it at all. Like it has nothing to do with you. Like I cherish those times we had, in different countries and stuff. But I have to find a place here, a balance, because I'm getting old and I just feel like I'm not going to be able to sustain my life. And really it's like my mentality, like the mind being clear is what I really needed to focus on the most. I think that's been the number one thing that I sacrificed for a long time, just eating badly and not drinking water and just, so yeah.
The regret the next day.
Yeah, and just regret years of it.
Yeah, there's always going to be a time for fun. Always be a time for a good time.
I'm still big, but man, dude, I have to make time to move my body. And the way I explain it is like, for years I felt like a stagnant lake, and now when I move and I'm going, and I'm sure you guys know this, the days you go and work out, the days you move and you eat healthy, you feel like the ocean. You feel alive, and I just think that that's something people need to think about more often, And yeah, you do sacrifice, but sacrifice smart, And
then can I ask you the same question? Let me repeat it.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the youngsters coming up? And what advice would you give to the old timers that wish it would be the way it used to be?
I mean, to the old timers, I think, I've been tattooing, 17, going on 18 years, I think. And I just think that don't be so caught up on the past. If you're looking to the past or looking to the future, you're not really living in your present. And the past, you have to be grateful for it because you were actually lucky to enjoy that time of that world. It's a different time and it's a different world. It's just like Torres said, moving forward, do things that you wouldn't do. We all create habits that we're not willing to break. And a lot of it has to do with our own egos or insecurities on how we're going to be judged with others. And I think that really stepping outside to yourself and being unapologetic about your choices is going to make you happier, because you're not going to have to worry about, like, your life's going to be better because, just say you took a class from somebody, or you asked somebody for something, or you're willing to learn something from a guy that works with you that's younger. Instead of getting angry and saying, well, this is how it used to be and I miss the old days, why not go the opposite way and acknowledge whatever it is that it's making you feel and say, hey, how did you do that? Or what are you using? None of us know everything, and we never will. So there's going to be young kids and people that come into it that do have things to share. And if you're not willing to take it, you're never going to grow and have it. So, I just really think it's stepping outside of our own place. You know, I had a good conversation. He's a traditional tattooer and he's a well-known tattooer. I won't say who it is, but he was like, man, dude, my world would never let me teach those academies or things that you would do. I'd be frowned upon. And he's like a punk rock dude, plays music. And he was like, I was like, well, weren't you like a punk rocker? Like, fuck the system, punk rock. Like, I'm like, it's crazy to me that you can think that way outside the box and then become a tattooer, and it's different than, you know, what people were saying is okay to do. But then you conform to your friends because you find the same group of people, but now you're stuck in another box. And it's like, that's going to hinder you in life. You know, you have to be unapologetic and do what you think is true to your heart. I'm not saying like do things that are wrong or against who you are, but definitely be willing to grow and open up to new ideas and values, because I think that'll make you happy. I think most of us want that. Most of us want to grow. I think, like Torres was saying, not growing, not learning, not moving forward, I mean, that's not living. So I respect the traditional and I respect the past. You know, I love tattooing. It's my heart and soul, and I'm grateful for, and this is a good time, you know, like for one thing, I would love to say to anybody, like, the Jack Rudy's and the Rick Walters and, you know, Mark Mahoney's, Kerry Barba's, like, and even further back, you know, the Sailor Jerry's and people like this, like, I really do respect, you know, Lyle Tuttle's. I respect and I'm grateful because my life has been blessed by tattooing, and I just want to say thank you to you guys, because it's like, I don't want you guys to ever think that the things I say are against that or that's how I feel. I really do love tattooing, and I do it for, you know, I want to do for everyone. So, and to the young,
I respect that. Sorry.
And to the young kids, you know, we're in a different time in the world where I see tattooing right now. Okay, I would say like maybe we're like at the Tony Hawk stage when Tony Hawk was at the top, or, you know, of skateboarding. I can relate it to that, where soon after this, there's going to be multi-millionaire tattooers. And, you know, we got stuck maybe right before that or at that place. You know, and there's so many people like Stacy Peralta's and, you know, Tony Alva's that have been in the past, like, you know, Jack Rudy's and things like that. You know, we have to learn how to help these people and take care. And I'm still trying to figure out these things. You know, that's also why the Black Ink Academy is important to me, because Jack Rudy can get up there and talk. And, you know, you can hear these stories. You have to hear these stories. You have to hear this history, you know, as a young person. And I think that you need to respect the past, man. And it's the same thing that Torres was saying. You know, I think that you guys are going to be dealt a whole new card of things, like whole new hand of things. And so, you know, don't worry about the fame. Don't worry about the Instagram. Don't worry about the fucking Facebook or whatever you're doing, whatever social media app's coming next. You know, just put your head down and keep doing what you're doing. Do what's true in your heart. Treat people right and well. And give back, man. Like, you know, if someone needs help, help them. You know, I think that's been the biggest contributor to my life, is that I really, and it's one of these things where, like, I've even questioned in the past where I'm like, damn, I gave everything away, like everything, every tool, everything. But, you know, and there's been times I'm like, oh man, that person didn't treat me right, and I gave all these tools away, you know, and it's hurtful because I really love what I do. But I just want you guys to know that that's our job. Our job is to create the next generation, and to really look to the future and just help people out, man. Like, that's going to contribute to your life and make you a better person and fulfill your heart more than your pockets. The money will come if you work for it, but that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to really leave a legacy and do something great. So, yeah.
Do you see a difference, because you guys run across a lot of young tattooers, do you see the difference from a young tattooer from 10 years ago till now? Is there any is there anything that you can see that would...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Huge difference, man.
Yeah.
You know...
They do it for the gram, some of them.
Yeah, well, they do it for the gram, and they do it for the... I mean, it's hard, dude, because, you know, Boris was telling me one time, can you imagine growing up in this time? Like, where... Because we had to deal with where you had to go get your pictures developed.
Right,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But can you imagine from the
Walgreens.
gate, from out the gate, bro, you are fed likes and fed
Yeah.
this social media game. So, like, it's almost hard to understand that mentality because we know of a different life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but it has changed the way it is in this same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there's some that choose to play the game and some that don't.
Yeah.
But I think, man, to be honest with you, I think it's part of the stuff that we got to learn and kind of evolve with.
For sure.
Yeah.
Robert Hernandez and Philip Liu don't play the game.
Yeah.
They don't.
What about like when they chase the likes? But do you think that the opposite is true? Like, do you think like
Yeah, people that don't chase anything.
Well, no. I mean, like if a kid posts his pic, like because we all like any tattooer evolves, right?
Yeah.
So your first work is definitely a lot worse than your, you know, a year or two late.
You would hope.
Too later, but these kids are putting their stuff up probably right away. Do you see them becoming amazingly discouraged with like negative?
I think it's discouraging the people that have been around for a long time too. You know what I mean? I think that Instagram is a different place now. I think that we put a lot of value in that for years. I mean, all of us. And I think that it's just changed. So I think that a lot of people's egos are being destroyed, you know? And I think that it's kind of crazy to me because my ego was destroyed when I hurt my back, you know, and I couldn't post tattoos. And I learned something that was a great lesson of like, who fucking cares about this stuff? Like, it's a tool that we use and that's great, but it doesn't encompass your career, and what someone's opinion is doesn't really matter. Because if you look at people like Picasso or someone like that, like they never even sold a piece of art. Like I think his brother bought all his art, so they ended up dying with nothing. So it's like if you're making money and making a living and you're tattooing, you're fucking winning.
But I want to know, how did you come to that? How did you come to not giving a fuck?
Because everyone rested on it so much, and it was like hurting your soul. Like when I got hurt, that really taught me a lot about just, I remember it told me, let's just be grateful. Like I remember there was a time in my mind where just say doing this was like, holy shit, I'm going to go down there and do this thing, you know? And like, we lose that. We lose that magic of like the new and the exciting because it isn't big enough or good enough for us. And I think that that's the problem with people. Like, you know, it's just say someone on television or a movie star or whatever, it becomes normal to them. And you forget. I mean, remember when you started tattooing, dude? Do you remember doing like pieces of shit tattoos that you were just doing through the door and you told yourself something? And I remember this because I told myself this, and I'm sure you did too because you're a driven guy. And I'm sure with you guys with shirts, you were like, I just wish I could sell 1,000 shirts. I just wish I could do one portrait a day. Like, and then you get that. And then all of a sudden it becomes, I wish I could do my own idea. And then you're like, you become ungrateful. And I think that that's the biggest key to life is to sustain being grateful. And I think that a lot of things, life happens for you because it teaches you something. And I think hurting my back, it taught me to be grateful. And so I have to constantly remind myself of that, you know, and I'm still guilty of it, but I do my best to acknowledge that.
I kind of got to argue that point.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because to me, I think that there's no way that me and you get, or that we've gotten to the places we're at because being grateful, like I'm so hard on myself, and I tell this to everybody. I have about 5 tattoos, and I apologize if your tattoo isn't one of them that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly picky. Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the artwork though. I'm talking about like just the placement of life or like what you're getting. Like we focused on the things we don't get a lot of times, and that becomes frustrating. You know?
Yeah.
Like if somebody,
right.
let's just say someone at your shop gets something, like some award or some crazy shit, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're like, why aren't I getting that? And our jealousies get a hold of us, or our insecurities. And so that's when we have to acknowledge, like, well, I got all this other stuff. Like I own Raven and Wolves, and I'm a fucking badass, you know, and I get all these bitches. No, I'm just kidding. Right?
I'm talking about more like haters or trolls. You know, like you can have 100 people tell you something good, but that one person that is a hater or talk shit, I'll go to bed thinking about that.
I love them.
I've Googled how to not give a fuck and try to learn to not give a fuck, how to develop thicker skin, you know? I'm trying to get better at that, but I've noticed you guys...
There was a time where my Instagram was negative as fuck.
Really?
And people were fucking saying some crazy shit to me. Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, you guys know, man, there's been stuff, I had a bullet sent to me in the mail, and like you can ask Derb Morrison, like... You know, because I said something on TV that somebody didn't like, and I never even found out who really sent that. But I've had so many weird situations that it's like, I think I've almost grown to where like my skin is thicker. I even had a situation, let's just say recently, of somebody tell me a bunch of stuff to my face, you know, and they were like blowing up and just saying shit. And really, dude, like how you got to get in your mind is you're like, the whole time they're saying something, or when you read it, you got to be like, nope, no. even if someone's cussing at you and telling you, no, nuh-uh, that's not how it is. And because that really, if you agree to it, like if I'm like, oh, this is how you are and this is the person you are, and you're like, oh, you're right, well, fuck. Well, yeah, it's going to hurt you. Yeah, it's, you know, if someone says something on your Instagram, like, this is all you are, and you're like, fuck, well, I am like that, then yeah, dude, it's going to hit you. But if you're like, fuck you, block, no way, I'm a fucking great human being, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's, just say no.
Just say no.
Drugs, dare.
Yeah. I think it's a big, says to who you are, you know? Are you satisfied with who you are as a person?
Yeah.
You know, and being able to just block that stuff off. I don't get like the haters that he goes through, and probably would feel the same. Like it would probably keep me up at night. But the one thing I do rest assured is like I know that I have a pretty good soul and I'm a pretty good human being.
Yes.
And I know I'm not perfect, you know, but I try to do what I can and keep people happy to my abilities. And if you don't like it, sorry, like, you know. And sure, I'm not the greatest tattooer, and I'm gonna everybody, I don't care who it is, has those tattoos that came back and didn't heal the right way. Yep. Maybe you didn't put the ink in the right way. Everybody has that. So the point I'm getting to is what I'm saying though is that it's all about taking that and then going back to the drawing board and figuring out, okay, what I did wrong. Now, if you're doing 5 years of the same consistent shit, then there's a problem, you know. But you know, I would say that there was one time there was this tattoo, and a tattooer that I was hyped on because I see his stuff on Instagram. I was like, damn, this dude's like the next Nikko Hurtado. And then come across one of his pieces out at a convention, and I was like so bummed out because I saw it in person, and it was horrible. Everything had fallen out. I couldn't even tell what I had a hard time figuring out it was the tattoo that I was like, oh my God, this dude's amazing. And, you know, I think that there's a chance that dude could start seeing his stuff and be like, okay, back to the drawing board. I hope he does.
But he probably won't.
Maybe.
If people are raging about him online, he's probably not going to. Like, that's where self-reflection is a huge thing, and I think that's when people lack a lot.
Well, yeah, but that's what I was, you know, the Instagram and all that stuff is definitely changing heads. Yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day, all we're doing is drawing on people. Yeah. So you don't have to have there's no reason to have a big head. Mm-hmm. If you're putting out fires in, you know, paradise, or you're you know,
you're a nurse or a doctor
doing something that actually means something, then to me, then those are the people who teachers should have the biggest heads, you know?
Teachers should, sure.
Not us who, or we're just drawing on people.
Yeah, we're fortunate, man. That's where I'm saying, like, that's you. See, that's why you're a grateful human being, dude, and you've always been that way. Like, and I think that you don't acknowledge it, but that's been a big contributor to your life and success, man. And that's why people love you, dude. You're like, probably like Bob, like where you're like a really lovable person, and that's I admire that. You know?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ryan and I, we've said it from the beginning. If we smell an ego, you know, we give them the Heisman. It's if there's egos, we try to dodge them. Of course, you get to know people later on in life. But going back to what we were talking about, like some of the trolls and haters, Ryan and I have been very fortunate to not have people say it to our face or online. I know of like 2 or 3 that have made it vocal. You know, but those 3, like I said, I'm getting better at not caring.
Sorry,
one popped in. Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah. But you know what?
Fuck them.
Fuck them. You know what? The one thing, my old boss told me something that I always relate to, and she said, "Cream rises to the top."
Yeah.
So what I always tell everybody is, if your heart and soul is pure, and you're giving what you're supposed to be giving to this tattoo world, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if you are, you know, you got some manipulative ways and you got just other angles and you're trying to do something else,
it's gonna catch up.
It's gonna catch up to you. You'll be called out.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
And one thing I could say is that you and Ryan, Nikko, have given a lot to the tattoo industry, and I love you guys for that. You guys are awesome.
Thank you,
You guys have
Carlos.
done
We
great,
love
man.
you too.
Yeah, like it's funny because you know what I was gonna say right now too is like the guy that you laughed about right now because we're on the same page and I'm sure you guys are on the same page. That guy's gonna listen to this fucking thing so hardcore and like he did it to you, or Ryan and Jeremy, and he did it to me too. And I know I'm not angry at the guy. He apologized for it, but this has been the guy's pattern for a very long time. And it's crazy because I guarantee he's gonna listen and he's gonna know that it's him. And it's
that's something he ain't happy with on himself
for sure, bro.
And that's like the last thing you guys should.
It's sad,
or
I mean, if
concern
anything,
about.
I feel more sad for people like that
Yes, I
because
do.
they have no happiness.
Right.
It's they can't smile genuinely and be like, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I think to me it makes me laugh because I know I've always said that as long as your heart is in the right place,
Yeah.
anything that comes about it that's negative, like you said, no, it's not true. It isn't.
Yeah,
Like
no.
I sleep at night knowing I know when we got involved with the Hawaii convention,
Yeah.
there was a lot of controversy about going to Hawaii and everybody saying everybody's going to stay and nobody's going to leave.
Yeah.
And, but I knew in my heart, no one's going to stay. It's just going to be a great show.
Yeah.
And we knew that we came from a pure place. So that when we went and were part of the first ever convention there, we were able to have an amazing time. And, and so whenever situations like that come about, whenever there's somebody that's negative or whatever, I always just know there's people that you could never please and it's their problem.
Yeah, I was just talking to my business partner about this guy, Adam Everett. And I was like, dude, so on one end, if you're a piece of shit, people talk shit, right? But then on the other end, you're like holier than thou, best dude you'll ever meet. People will be like, that dude thinks he's better than everybody. It doesn't even fucking matter. So who fucking cares, Right. That's sorry, I had to chime in. I just talked about that today, so it was funny.
Yeah, but I know Nikko, I mean, you guys are both great artists, great tattooers, and I respect, your work ethic and also your, the way you guys went about your businesses. But I feel like Nikko, he expresses himself a little bit more on Instagram. He puts his balls on the table a little bit, Like I loved the New York post talking about, Robert Hernandez tattooing you guys getting best of day and your first convention in New York.
I'll give a little hint to Torres and other people, and I tell people this stuff all the time. So the girl I tattooed from the UFC, right? I just tattooed her recently, and she's badass, and she's doing a bunch of stuff. Huh? She choked me out. Yeah, for sure. That shit was funny. And she did pull pretty hard, dude. I was like, oh fuck. Just to fuck with me. Because I was like, hey, can you do this? And then I pussed out and want to get passed out. But, the one thing she did tell me why she got tattooed by me was she was like, once in a while, she's like, I know so many tattooers. She wants to start collecting. I'm sure she'll hit you up, Torres. And I'm sure she's going to start collecting from a bunch of tattooers. But she's like, the reason I wanted to start out with you, Nikko, was because you always post. And the reason I follow you still, she's like, I follow so many amazing tattooers, but I'll unfollow them. She's like, because it'll become redundant where you just see a tattoo and it's like, hey, here's my tattoo, my client, blah, blah, blah. She's like, what I love is that you will give some motivation or you'll say something. And it's like, I think some people, even Boris told me one time, he was like, I used to read these things online that you would post. And I just thought, dude, there's no way this guy's like that. There's no way this is him. He's like, but now that I know you, I know that's really you. I know that's how you think and how you feel. And so the reason she said she got tattooed wasn't really because of the tattoo stuff. She wanted a good tattoo for me, but it was because of how I made her feel and the relationship she created in her mind online with what I did. And she wrote about it, and I think that that's the thing that is commonplace with the people I attract in my life is that, like I said, be unapologetic with it. I think that, our views in our life is important to share because there's people that will idolize you like we idolize others, and it's really nice to know these things about people. If I really look up to somebody like Elon Musk, I want to learn about that guy. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to know how his brain, that Joe Rogan podcast with him. I watched it 3 times because dude,
Blew my
talking
mind.
about
yeah,
that.
I'm like, dude, this guy's mind is so far ahead. Just the way he thinks. I want to know more about him. I'm intrigued, and it's the same with Sanchez, dude. Sanchez, I learned about him at the workshop and I'm like, bro, I told him straight out. He probably told you, I was like, I love you. I think I fell in love with you, dude. And it's like, I want to learn more about people. And I think that people, I really don't know why. I guess it's to different people and it's not a judgmental thing. And I get it how some people don't want to put it out there. And that's totally fine. I can respect that. But I do think that if you're willing to put yourself in a vulnerable position and say what's in your heart, there's a lot of people out there that will hate it, and there's a lot of people out there that'll like it and be down for you. And I think that that's just, and I don't do it for that reason. It really is like I feel that way, and I'm like, I'm just gonna put this out there, and it's easy. But it was interesting to see that she picked me to get tattooed by because of that, and she vocalized that to me. And even when we were tattooing, we had a great conversation, and I almost felt like she was like almost like she was emotional, and a little bit of me felt like it was necessary to tell her that, and it was just a conversation between us, but it was something that was special, and I could feel it in my heart, so I shared it with her, and then she shared back. So it was an interesting thing. But yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I feel like we could talk forever. I feel like we're just getting started, but I know we do need to wind this down a little bit. Before the podcast's over, I want you guys to plug any new product you guys are coming out with. Carlos, start with you. What are you involved with right now? Plug us some of your businesses.
Well, I'm involved with Bishop. We have obviously Bishop makes a great rotary machine. Nico's got one with them. Yeah. We have working on the wand, which is a pen style machine, but we're not going to release it until it's right and ready, And there's a few things that we felt that we need to go back to the drawing board and adjust. Also, Inkies, we have a ton of new products out. Cbd Glide, which is CBD's big. I've become a firm believer in CBD, just helping me with my back and also noticing reducing swelling in tattoos. So there's that, and we just launched our sunblock, a bunch of lotions, and then what I think is probably one of the most genius ideas that we've put out there is this spray-on bandage that it basically leaves a breathable bandage on there, flexible, is water soluble, and we're really going to be pushing that next year. I'm like, man, I just got tattooed and used it.
What's it called?
It's Ink Guard.
Yeah, I used it for my neck tattoo. I loved it.
How long does it last, like when you put it on?
So we found a couple different ways to apply it. You could apply it one way, just spray it once. They go home and sleep with it. It's kind of like like almost having like a bandage on it. In the morning, wash it off in the shower. It's good to go. You start putting ointment on, lotion, blah, blah, blah. Or we've found also that leaving 2 to 3 coats of it, you basically is like a self-healing. So one layer washes off usually per day. By the time it finishes washing off, you're like at the lotion stage, and it's all self-healing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's almost like the thinnest layer of like glue almost, where you have just this thin sheet of something on you that slowly dissolves.
Remember how the when you had glue in your hands when you were a kid and you go like that and it would kind of like rub off?
That was my favorite.
Yeah. And
I still do it as an adult.
And that's pretty much how it comes off. And honestly, I think that's a brilliant idea that we were able to get and push out there. Yeah. And it's out in market now.
And of course, we hear nothing but great feedback on all of the Inkies products on Bishop. I know Ryan used it. We all use Inkies.
Thank you.
So congratulations on all that.
Yeah, the one looks cool. I had 2 prototypes that they're badass looking. So yeah.
Thanks.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool.
Anything else?
Actually, we just put out some the what?
Art shows? You got any?
We do have some art shows coming up. Really quick before we do that, though, Inkies just come out with 3 different foam soaps. One with lidocaine, one with CBD, and one with my science is off on this, prebiotic or probiotic.
It's probably a probiotic.
Antibiotic?
It's probably a probiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they use that in
Bionic?
skin stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I seen a probiotic soap recently. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
my
we were
apologies to
looking at that
Inkies
too,
for not getting my education
cool.
right on
Yeah.
that. But and then look forward to we're going to be having more art shows, probably 2 to 3 of them this year at the Raven and the Wolves. So
Looking forward to it.
yeah.
What about you, Nikko?
I don't have too much going on. I mean, just the Black Anchor Academy stuff is always happening. If you want to check into that more, there's YouTube videos of it, and there's also and everything's my name, Nikko Hurtado or Black Anchor. There's also, if you go to my IGTV, there's some videos about a little bit more about it and what's going on with that. Anchored has some new products coming out. We had Vegan Blue that we released, but we really haven't done a big push. The unique thing about Vegan Blue is that it's has turmeric in it, and if you research turmeric, so like when I hurt my back, turmeric's a natural ibuprofen. And when you put it on the skin, it'll actually reduce the inflammation and redness. So if you're doing black and gray, it'll pull the redness out a lot. Turmeric's an amazing thing, and it's been used in like Eastern culture for a very long time. It's just like, CBD or like anything like that. Like, one of my friends is huge on like roots and plants and things like that. And he was saying how all different plants could cure people. Like, it's not just one plant, and I think a lot of people put a lot of rest in certain plants and it's only that one, but really look up turmeric. I take it every day. It actually helps with the aging of the brain. I take 2 pills a day. So I just thought, what, how do I make this unique? How do I make it more from me and my experience? And so it takes me a little long to create these products, but Anchored has really done really well as a stencil solution. I'm really proud of it. And Vegan Blue is I'm sure it's going to do tremendous because it's already on its way. But and then there's some other stuff that I'm sure you'll see me release throughout the year. Another is like a sunscreen that we're working on and stuff like that, Reef Safe, and hopefully that'll be out before summer. And then just my shops, man, just Black Anchor, Collective in Hesperia, Black Anchor LA, and then just the Pasadena show. So I'm excited with everything coming, and I think it'll be really good. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, Golden State Tattoo Expo once again, January 25th through the 27th in Pasadena, California, hosted and presented by Nikko and Carlos. Thursday is going to be the Black Anchor Academy, so make sure you guys sign up to that. That is a chance of a lifetime.
The shop too. The shops try to win, man. I want someone out there to take their whole shop.
He's hooking up a full shop to come down.
That's cool.
It'd
be cool, right? Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Hats off to you guys, man. Thank you so much for your friendship. Thank you for the years of support. Ryan and I love you both to death, and keep killing it, man.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything. And I've learned a lot from you guys just being around, you know what I mean? So thank you very much.
Let's keep learning, man. Cool. Well, also at the Golden State Expo, we're going to be doing live podcasts each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So message, comment, follow, let us know who you want up on stage with us. We're going to be doing some more interviewing and bullshitting for the Under the Skin podcast, Ryan and I. So there's so much more we could talk about. Let's save it for another day.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll come back and do another one. That'd be badass.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, guys.
I hope so.
All right, guys.
Thanks
for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.
Later.